Violence, destruction, chaos. That's the message mainstream media outlets are pushing when it comes to rallies for Donald Trump. But new video from filmmaker Andrew Marcus of Rebel Pundit proves at least one media outlet may be trying to inflame tensions by directing and actually staging what protesters are doing. Look, listen, and pay attention to the cameraman.
Hey, it's jumping! Hey, he wants security. Donald Trump has got to go! Hey! Donald Trump has got to
Is that the media staging a shot?
Now remember that this is something that obviously a picture is worth 1,000 words, but we invite you to offer some words later in this segment as you call in with your comments at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Let's discuss what we just saw with someone who constantly monitors bias in Hispanic media, the director of the Media Research Center Latino, Ken Oliver-Mendez. Ken, Telemundo, we see that cameraman with a Telemundo shirt. We understand that network did not use that specific cameraman's footage. But what we just saw, isn't this evidence of a deliberate attempt to stage news scenes or protest or riot scenes?
Right. Well, I mean, and people talk about bias at the mainstream media and ABC, CBS, NBC. This is a real eye-opener for a lot worse bias that's going on in Spanish language media, in this case, Telemundo, the #2 network in the country in Spanish. And it's a real eye-opener, right? Because you might think, well, the cameraman just telling you how to put the Mexican flag the right way, that's no problem. But really, journalistically, cameramen nor reporters should be creating or choreographing the news. They should be covering the news. And that's, what we didn't see. We saw collusion there between the protester and the cameraman.
So basically, what are we getting in Hispanic media? Telemundo and Univision, and I guess ABC and Telemundo have that Spanglish network fusion. Does this put all of their coverage under the suspicion of some form of manipulation or control?
Well, this is a fresh wound, let us say, to the credibility of Spanish language media, the leaders in this country, which are Univision and Telemundo. You have a constant bias, which we've documented at MRC Latino, of really an anti-law enforcement bias and pro-amnesty bias throughout the years. And it's only gotten worse in the last year.
Now, while documenting this protest, the Rebel Pundit cameraman questioned that other cameraman about his actions. Let's look and listen to this exchange.
Is Telemundo staging a shot?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, you're staging a shot at a protest. That's not news collection. You're staging news.
What do you want me to do, man?
Well, you're staging the news.
I'm not part of the protest, bro.
What's that?
I'm not part of the protest, bro. I'm media.
Well, then why are you directing them?
I don't need to work.
Now, there was a statement issued by Telemundo when they were confronted with this footage, and here is the official reaction from Telemundo. Quote, "The cameraman in question is a temporary worker hired to help cover the San Diego, Tijuana area." So I guess they're saying in common parlance, he's a stringer, but NBC, Telemundo, they have an affiliation. They lean leftward. Even as they try to downplay their association with this cameraman in the area, does that not lead to a suspicion that there is an agenda in the newsroom, in the management suites of Telemundo to be pro-illegal and anti-Trump?
Well, certainly Telemundo is part of NBC, and they should be, to restore their credibility in the first place, they should be denouncing and saying what the cameraman did was wrong. Their cameraman should be covering the news, not creating it or choreographing the news, and working with protesters on either side. And it's a real shame that all these days later, after that event that happened in San Diego, Telemundo is silent about that. Yes, he did wrong, and that it should not happen again.
Well, now, there is something else we need to talk about before we part company tonight, and that is an announcement that came yesterday. The PGA announcing that it will move one of its tour stops away from Trump's golf course in Doral in Miami and instead move it to Mexico City, of all places. Here's what Donald Trump had to say in response.
The PGA Tour moved the World Golf Championships from Miami, where they're furious, to Mexico City. Not good, but that's okay. Folks, it's all going to be settled. You vote for Donald Trump as president. If I become your president, this stuff is all going to stop.
But Ken, right now it's in full swing. With the 30 seconds that remain here, I'm just very curious. Of all the places to move a tour event, Mexico City. Now, what is your take? Is this the PGA trying to stick a thumb in Donald Trump's eye economically? 30 seconds.
Well, in fairness, a lot of this is being politicized, but the PGA itself says that they have a great business opportunity in Mexico, and it makes sense for them to expand their business, south to the extent they can. And they have also said that they do expect to return to Trump's Doral Resort very soon with a new sponsor.
Ken, Oliver-Mendez, we appreciate your insights and analysis, both with what happened with Telemundo and what has happened with the PGA Tour event. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.